All right. Should be live. I want to make sure that we are at least. Which yeah, we are. So, I mean, this is very much a last minute kind of F1 stream. I doubt anybody's truly going to be here. Let me make sure I can talk. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, I doubt anybody's going to want to sit here and be here, but I did have some people ask me to do an F1 show. So whether you watch this live or you're watching this later for tomorrow, at least it's here. Now, TrueDFS, we do not offer F1 projections. Sheets is still, he'd like to, not even like back test, but and I mean, he's already won a contest this year. But he still wants to do another year of perfecting and messing with his stuff. And then I just don't offer them because I'm pretty much going to show my projections here, and they're very much very rudimentary and stuff. But it's what I use. I don't think it's worth selling or providing or anything. But talking out loud and using it as a reference is always good. And yet again, I mean, this is just kind of kind of not off the cuff, but we're just kind of here talking F1. And so if you guys do have any questions or if anybody is in here, feel free to ask it. Or let me make sure my guy at least is aware that I'm live. Because I had two people asking. Okay, either way, when we're looking at the slate tomorrow, so I have not reserved anything. I have not put anything in. I guess we could just go ahead and do that live and stuff. Let me go ahead and I have so many tabs open. Good Lord. So, hold on. Sorry, let me get all this stuff squared away. Also, here, let me move this. Yeah, I'll put that on screen. All right. Also, I'm very much using this as like a weekend off. As I kind of rant while we wait for people to join in. I mean, we can go ahead and I guess look at the Truck Series contest really fast. I don't have to pull the CSV. We can just kind of look through. I mean, this race is so fucked in so many drastically different ways. We could have cars that have flood damage. They're coming back tomorrow running. I mean, this is an absolute disaster of a weekend. The All-Star race and everything they were doing for it, like none of it's going to pan out. We just have the starting grid from these pit crew guys and the 3-lap queue. So we have no clue how anybody is going to do in the race. We have no clue how they're going to go about it. Like this whole weekend's just a farce, man. So just chill out and just enjoy it. Enjoy the chaos. Don't throw money into it. Don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything stupid. I mean, look, before I even was going to go live here, I'm doing one thing that I almost never do, and I'm just enjoying a Heineken like on the weekend when I was like, yeah, I'll like I'll tilt enter like fucking F1, because like I'm not gonna play NASCAR tomorrow. Like you got to be kidding me if you're gonna put more than like $30 into NASCAR tomorrow. That's insane. But I guess as I wait here, waiting for people to join in and stuff, we can go ahead and like look at least my own personal lineups. And so entering this race, based on my projections, Eckes, Sammy Smith, Majeski, Ankrum, Parsons were, or at least these four were the drivers that my stuff and SaberSim was liking when I was looking at like lineup builds and strategy, or not strategies, but like how to construct lineups and stuff. And it just so happened, I believe I have three. Let me check. I gotta go in order. It should be the last three should not have time Majeski in it at all. It should be primarily place differential plays. And at this point, I think the Eckes is pretty fucked, man. I bet the goddamn farm on Corey Heim at Martinsville, and he didn't show up. I thought he'd have way better pace at Martinsville than he did. So I was like, well, I'm just not going to play Corey Heim in this one. Hopefully he runs the same thing, and he's just not. Like Corey Heim is way faster than the field. I do like mid, 81 laps in this race. I'm like, I'm so screwed. I am absolutely so screwed. I have no Corey Heim at all. I like that because based on his price, Raja, Kraft, and Ankrum, and even Drew is he was scoring like 25 during the race. This is actually, I mean, this is under yellow and stuff. But man, my initial gut reaction of just not having Drew was probably the better call. I got talked into this by by the YouTube chat because they brought up Drew, or I keep saying Drew, Dawson. And like I originally predicted him for like 19 points or something like that. I didn't. I think I only have him I think I only have him in these 2 lines. Like I was not a fan of Sutton at all. Um, at the same time, it's so interesting that literally all of the 5K range is like just probably not going to work out. Like they are all terrible. I mean, Raheem's at 5'4", Boyd's at -2 because he, had the stupid jack under his car when he left. We have Holmes at like freaking 4 because he fell through the field. He didn't even hold his position. Thad Moffitt is doing worse than imaginable. I mean, like this slate is a freaking disaster. How you doing, Fila? Hope your evening's going well. But yeah, like this whole Wilkesboro weekend is just a mess. Um, I mean, real quickly, we can talk about Cup Series. I know this is like the F1 show and stuff, but I'd rather have people in here to talk F1 real fast, or at least ask questions and stuff. Let me go ahead and bring up my NASCAR stuff because I'm not very confident. Not even confident isn't the right word, but I'm not very happy with how you're having to approach this race. Like I said, hold on. Let me go ahead and just reserve everything really fast. It's much easier to do on the phone. What am I going to do for F1? Probably 10, 12 lines. I think that's fine. What is that? 180 in the 15. Yeah, that's fine. Probably do 3 for the Clash and just call it a day. Also, another thing, I went from having to we would have the F1 sweat tomorrow, and now it's like we're gonna have 3 sweats tomorrow, and like 2 of them I think they're dead on arrival. I really think the Truck Series contest is just toast. I don't think I have a fucking chance of cashing in this because Heim has such a good car. It is insane, and it's also nuts that like where are we at? Like Ty Majeski stayed out. Like these guys are playing this game. They're playing it so right. Like I'm so absolutely shocked that Majeski is staying out here. Like dude, I mean that could absolutely work because I think I was incredibly wrong on Ty Majeski as well. He did not have the car that I was expecting. And if I could probably go back, I would not want to have as much Majeski as I have now. I mean, I have him in 4 lineups, but man, I think Eckes and Majeski may have been just a disaster. I think that was just a horrific stance and just a horrific play. How did you guys approach this Truck Series race? What are you guys thinking? Especially when you have like rain delays and stuff, and you are allowed to look at things like in the race. Like this is what I mean by like live scoring and stuff. Now I understand this is under caution and stage has just ended. I'm trying to think, when do they go yellow for the rain? At what point did people pit already? But like, this is what's interesting. Like doing this, I think is really cool. Like when you look at what's currently winning right now, I mean, this probably isn't going to stand with Jones and Daniel Dye and stuff, but you can see the builds that went through, and it's going to probably have Rajah and Ankrum in nearly all of these. Probably the same 4 across the board, but Butterbean is there. Probably need to go like to the 300s actually to start seeing like Corey Heim at 60%. Jesus, I didn't think he'd be that high, but man, he has a flying fast car. Another thing to note is like Heim only has 10 fastest laps. When Eckes was out there, he led the first 62 laps. He only had 9 fastest laps. Like that's really interesting. Typically, you have the leader at least carry more percentage of his laps led, or not laps led. He has a higher percentage or a higher ratio of his laps led and fast laps. It's very interesting that is not the case here in this race. Let me just go ahead and reserve in some of these. But yeah, how are you guys looking in the Truck Series race? Because I think that is a dead man walking, man. I think this slate is fucking toast, man. I think I'm absolutely screwed. Where are you guys at? In an all-star truck. Oh, you talking about Sammy Smith and his so I missed the start of the race. I was not here at the start of the I wasn't here at the start of the truck race. And so, I sit down, I'm checking Twitter. I'm like, why is Sammy Smith like nearly 2 laps down? And I see that he, I guess, jumped the start or something. Like, what an idiot. What are we doing? You're already starting like ass last. You're like 30th on the board, and like we're like, what are you doing, man? Let me get these done, and then we can start looking through. Or let me get these saved, and we'll start looking at the F1 contest. And there we go. I could have swore I was about to lose access to a $4 and under contest. I thought I had very easily passed the threshold, but I guess I had not. So now I got all this shit entered. Let's go ahead and look at the slate here. And so this is where, I was going to rant about the All-Star race really fast. So this is where I'm at. Yet again, we get the final 3 guys here. So I could probably, let me go ahead and remove this. Actually, I'll just leave that on. But like, dude, this can go anyway. Like, salary don't matter. It is literally just gut feeling. And you can literally play whoever you want. I don't even think these might even stay this way by the time I get to tomorrow and adjusting for whoever the final 3 guys are. Hamlin clearly has the best car due to practice. I would assume that Truex is probably going to be there as well. This is very much just gut feeling. This is not even looking at the fucking practice laps. Like, there was no real data to show here. I mean, we're entering a green. We're not going to be green because they're going to do the truck and the open, but still, like, everything's washed off from what they were practicing on and everything. You have Penske. Excuse me. You had Penske have fast times, and like Blaney was speed on pit lane, Byron was speed on pit lane, Kyle Busch was speed on pit lane, Chase Elliott's been in pit lane. Like, this whole thing is a fucking disaster, man. This whole thing is a joke. So I'm probably going to be probably my 3 lines: slamming Hamlin, Byron, Larson, Truex. I can't imagine I go anywhere else from that. I got to believe we don't have anybody realistically score probably under 25 points tomorrow. Like, so that's another aspect of it, because like the guy who starts 20th already has 23 points. Okay. Unless AJ or McDowell or Suarez is probably going to score poorly as well. But unless somebody spins from the top 7 and finishes last, everybody should be scoring over 28 points, realistically speaking, or at least over 25. And then it's just whoever gets the laps led and stuff. And I mean, under no gun to my head, I can't give any significant player more laps led than Denny Hamlin at 42. I know he's starting 11th, but that's assuming that at least I'm guessing that he gets the lead late in the race tomorrow. But even this is so stupid, dude. These projections do not mean a fucking thing. You can just throw them out. The All-Star race is just playing whoever you want. That is insane. So when we're looking at the, Senna Death Track GP today, or tomorrow rather, this is where I'm at. Yet again, I don't calculate. So I have nothing calculating for finishing the race. So technically all these zeros are technically 1, because I would assume that they finished the race. But just for my projections, they're zeros. I haven't ran anything in SaberSim yet. And I am not necessarily hesitant, but realistically, Perez, if he doesn't crash out, I got him for 5th. Real chance he finishes 3rd. And when we look at where Ferrari is, I got him for 3rd and 4th. McLaren is 2nd and 6th. I would assume, let's see if SaberSim has anything up yet. Maybe they will. I don't know. Q was fucking either early this morning or yesterday. No, it was early this morning. I mean, it's been out long enough. So let's go ahead. Also, secondly, so here's an example of what I did for the trucks. This is what my projected lineups were. I don't necessarily trust Jack Wood, but these are my projections for the truck race. And I mean, a lot of these guys, I had them all in the 50s. I just didn't get to Corey Heim. I just didn't get to it. I saw Sammy Smith, Caruth, and Ankrum scoring within, projected kind of 8 points of these guys. And so we'll see how disastrous that goes. I just have no faith in the truck series contest working out at all. Let's see if they got anything up. So right off the bat, we're probably how can I do this? We'll just kind of guesstimate, or we'll look at them directly, comparing to see where SaberSim is in me or where I am. So we got Verstappen as the hot. Actually, this will be easier. So let's just rank these guys by projections and see how close we are to what SaberSim has, and typically what the field has and stuff. Where is my fellow dude? I am waiting for Mr. CMD to show up. This is like a requested show from him. But when we're looking at what SaberSim, so we got Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc. So I got Oscar slightly lower. That's probably, let's see what their distribution is. And it's all over the fucking place. That's wicked wild. So where are we lined up? Well, Leclerc. Past that, we got Sainz. They got Perez pretty low. What the hell is this? Where's Perez at? Whoa, dude, they got Perez at 8. What do I got him at? I got Perez at 13. So that means they are, I got him right around this distribution. They got him scoring. They got him outside of the points? No way. What are we doing here? What is SaberSim projecting him for at 8? Right? Yeah, so he's got him at 8.8. I got him at 13. So I got him at 5th. Oh boy. So they are giving him, what is that, an 8? They giving him 8th place? No, they're giving him 7th. That, I don't think that's right at all. Typically, Perez is, I mean, when you look at like his stuff and what, here, we'll just look through this actually. I don't think he's done it this year, so he's not. But like last year, when Perez would just like qualify like absolute trash, he would still get through the field. And I mean, I do believe that the gap between McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull is closing, but still, Perez, like, I mean, even like this is where Perez falls in line: 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 4th. Like, I can't imagine he finishes like 7th or whatever. Here, let's just close this. Got Alonso at 8. I got Alonso at 12. I think I got him in the points. Oh no, I got Alonso beating Stroll 10th, 9th. That's close. It's pretty head to head. If you remove the 5 from Alonso and give it to Stroll, that is very much. Let's see what the drastic difference is. So Fernando would be at 7. Stroll's at 8. So, and I don't even think that's necessarily important because Fernando is 72 and Stroll is 48. I mean, these are two drastically different price ranges. So that's not even important in terms of what their projection is, because if you're playing Alonso, it's because you're playing him because you're in that price range. Like, you're not playing Alonso straight up over Stroll and leaving, that, what is that, 2,400 on the table for just fucking shits and giggles. Like, you wouldn't do that, especially when you're paying up for a lot of these guys. Like, it's very rare. We'll just use Red Bull. We'll just kind of fuck around and talk through this. Like, it's very rare that you are. We use Max as an example here too. Like, it's very rare that you're ever going to have a chance to go over to Alonso over Stroll here. Like, even if we start paying down a shitload, like we can't get to Alonso. And so, I didn't mean to take Max off. So like when we're looking at the math problem here, and Max having this might be a bad example, but let me see what I can do. So that Max doesn't work. What do I got here? Magnussen. We'll put Sargent in here for this example. So you put Max in. 1 second to bring it down. 30. Ooh, man, that is still close. So like, yeah, like it's not even like the Alonso and Stroll shit literally doesn't matter at all because you're building for one or the other in that lineup. Okay, so like both their projections on an isolated level, or not even trying to use fancy terms, like independent of one another, like that projection doesn't matter. Okay. You can project them to both score well or not well. It literally just comes down to if you build with Alonso in your lineup, in that specific lineup, you need him to beat Stroll. If you build with Stroll in that line, you need him to beat Alonso. So like the Alonso and Stroll projection debate, I don't even think is worth necessarily having or worrying about it, because you're end up building with one or the other. What is interesting, where they got Sargent at? They got Sargent at 5.2, which is a bit wicked nuts, wicked wild, man. So 5, I'd give him like 3, 2. I think I got him for 1 right now. Pretty sure it's for 1. Yeah, so I got Sargent for 1. What is Max at 2? Haven't even looked at that. So he's 16.6. I mean, this one's This one's interesting because he wasn't even in play for Miami because he finished second. Like, he has to finish first to to score the 30s and stuff. But him at 16-6, and what is the rest of the field looking like? Third, wait a minute. We got 1, 32, 34. So Magnuson about to be removed from F1 because he just keeps fucking ramming into people. Bottas at 32. That's interesting. Sargent's still at 3. Gasly's moved up. Okay, so realistically speaking, playing Max or just looking at how the build would play out. Here, we'll just run this actually and just see what is bump these two. Oops, I don't want to bump them down too much. Let's just go around and let's look at the top 1,000 lines. Why not, man? So we'll build that and look around. And I don't plan on playing those lines. I mean, if I end up playing those exact lines because my projection showed me, not because of what SaberSim is building here, but I mainly want to look and let's see. They got Max at 28. Ooh, man, that's a mean projection. Real likelihood he's scoring in the 30s here. But anyway, just speaking out loud, this seems like a race where Sergio would probably finish 4th to 3rd. I mean, if he finishes second, it's game over. What is the difference between Red Bull and these other teams here? McLaren 9-5. They're going to be scoring straight 30s probably, more than likely. Realistically, project McLaren for like 32, 33. And even then, it doesn't matter because if like Ferrari runs an issue, if one of the Ferrari guys runs an issue, well, then it takes that constructor out. If Perez or Verstappen runs an issue, it takes that constructor out. But head to head, pretty much whoever has the winner in, because Max and Perez usually finish close together. You usually have the two Ferrari guys finish close together. You usually have the two McLarens finish close together. And even McLaren would have to probably do second, third to work out. So it's very much probably, let me see. It's very much Red Bull or Ferrari constructor, and it'll just depend on what Sergio does. So yet again, just a math problem where we're at, like projections don't matter. Sergio would probably need to be 5th. I think he's going to outscore it. I don't know if we're going to do it money-wise. Like if you get a Ford Red Bull constructor, which I think you probably could. But if you're running Red Bull constructor, Max Verstappen in the flex, which I think you could do at this price range, that's going to mean you're punting that top at captain. So yet again, it's very much just same fellows every week. So Sargent, Bottas, Magnuson, even Zhao. But Zhao at 36 is going to be, you're going to start pushing it there because that would be, what is that? 54. So probably best captain tomorrow is probably Bottas because especially when he's starting side by side with Zhou. And we're 50-50 so far on each of these, but Bottas is typically having the better race. And these were with these Sabre guys having issues getting the fucking tires off the car earlier in this year. So I will probably prioritize Sergeant captains, Bottas captains. Let me just see if you could even make, they're at 13-8. Good Lord, man. It's probably Bottas Sargent captains. Zhao. It'll be, you got to get heads up between whoever wins between these two guys. So you probably want to split your ownership, either dependent on what salary you have left between Zhao and Bottas, or just straight up 50-50, because that's a coin toss. They're starting 16 and 17. Literally no favorite between the two. Running identical speeds. It's literally just whoever fucking finishes in front of each other. So that's what it depends on. Or probably Russell or Hamilton captain. Alonso is interesting if he is able to get through the field and beat Stroll and finish in the points. Like I said, I got him for 9th right now. That's 12. So you'd be at 18 in the captain. So it's either Sergeant Bottas, Zhao captains, in my opinion, or Fernando, Hamilton, Russell. Excuse me. And I'd probably lean Alonso more just because if Alonso beats Stroll and finishes 9th or 8th, I mean that 18 points is going to be huge. But that would mean that you're probably not playing Red Bull or you're not playing Max. Which not playing Max then leads to a lot of Ferrari builds. Most actually, maybe. Well, look, you're gonna need Sargent. Also, cheat code in F1. Straight up, here are the hacks, and here's a cheat code. Just play the cheapest two guys like every week. Doesn't fucking matter who it is. It's usually Sargent. But just end up playing the two cheapest guys each week. If they beat their teammate, great. Like if they don't, well then the lineup's not gonna cash. But like typically like lineups like this, you just need the cheapest guy in there to do whatever you want, and then you fit like Albon or Hulkenberg or whatever in there. Man, it's gonna be tough. So I don't actually like what would the projections run. So now this is where we can look at here. Let me just see really quick. Interesting. No, this is single game. It's not projected. So let's see. Where does Red? Oh boy, brother, man, they don't have Red Bull. What the fuck, bro? What are they doing? That's why I don't like that projection of like 30th, 20, not 30th, 20 points. So we're just outside the top 1,000 with 38 points. I hate. Secondly, it has worked. I hate it. I will never build a double teammate lineup. I think that is just an absolutely horrific way to play. Why are we also what I have found? So this is the reason why I don't typically like using, especially these types of these mean projections for F1 is because you get a lot of these like we're not playing fucking Yuki starting 7th, 5th. Like, dude, bro, we're not doing that. We're just not playing Yuki here. So now I gotta like force in to check these lines to see the builds. That's not what I wanted either. Yeah, dude, like, good lord. Why has it got 10 now? It's only 12. What? 12? You're telling me out of 12? 12 lines with fucking Red Bull? Okay, well, all right, we're gonna have to do this again and bump up Red Bull because that's not helping a fucking thing. All right, rebuilds Red. Actually, just fucking lock in Red Bull. Screw it. We'll do it that way. We'll check and see the Red Bull lines on the next build. So, see what the Sargent lines are doing. It's going to give me McLaren and Ferrari here. Yeah, it's so stupid. It's wanting to go Lando. Like this shit's loving Yuki. Don't think that's the case. What do I got Yuki for? I got Yuki for 5 points. They got him for 6. But man, I do not like that. Why do they got Sargent at 7, man? They expect Albon to wreck out? What is going on here? So like, see, this is now see, this is why I don't like Saber some stuff, man. Not a fan. Is this done running here? How many lineups we got with Red Bull locked in? Because I know excuse me. I know I don't got no 12 lineups that I can build with Red Bull. I know that for a fact. So let's see. All right. Now we have a total of, there we go. That's the way. See, I knew you could do it. We got 3,000 some lineups with Red Bull in there. So thank you very much for doing. Actually, that's no way. What the hell is going on here? Yeah, dude, we got like 3,000 bullshit lineups with Red Bull. Like, what the fuck is this bullshit, man? Why is it doing this? Why did it be like, yeah, no, just Red Bull ain't. It's not looking for shit. Not looking good at all. So okay, now looking at Red Bull lineups. Yet again, we're not using projections at all. We're just looking through. Let's check out the max lines. How many is that? So that's 5. So no, we got 40. What the fuck is going on, dude? Why is it showing me 2? Why is it doing this? Excuse me? Okay, fuck it. We'll look at the pool then. All right, so we got, when we look at the entirety of the 142 lineups that are possible in F1 tomorrow that have Max Verstappen and Flex and Red Bull as constructor. Okay. And we start sorting them by projected score. Like I said, you see the Sargent up there because it's just forcing you. Now, this has Alonso in there. It's Levin Yuki. Holy hell. But it's Sargent, Bottas. And let's see how far we got to go down to start finding lineups that would have. What am I looking for? What am I looking for here? So probably tomorrow, what I'm going to have a majority of my, I mean, like I said, I'm going to run probably 12 lines tomorrow. Just, I might till it or more. Why not? But it's all dependent on what we can do with this 46 left over. Who can we get here? Are we double punting with like Sargent Bottas? Because then you're very much lined up with the same guys. Like that's mainly what I'm trying to figure out here. At this point, I don't really care what, actually, let's look at Sargent. I don't frankly care what the lineup is. So this is 24 possible lineups with Logan Sargent tomorrow. Okay. So going through, or what I would do is go through and look at all of these lineups that you could build and probably pull the top like 6 or 7 ones that make sense, that don't have double captains, that aren't completely thrown away. Like, I mean, just right off the bat, we can see that, like, I mean, this is Sargent, but like this is 92.6 projected. Bottom one is like 87. Probably not going to play the 87 because you get like Zhao, you get Ocon, you get Ricciardo. Like that lineup is not going to fucking win a GPP. Okay. So I would probably start looking at the top of these lineups to see where they're at. So that's the first part of what I do. So yet again, I'm not even using projections. I'm just using SaberSim to build all the lineups I can possibly build very quickly so I could look through and see which ones are actually interesting or have good guys, and then I pull from that. And I do the same thing with Bottas and stuff. And everything like that. Then, like, it's interesting that they're so low on Red Bull, because I would probably want to play Red Bull here. So second to that, you have to factor in what happens if Perez, finishes 6th tomorrow, finishes 7th, even if 5th isn't good enough. Like I know in FP1 and FP2, the Red Bull cars were not the fastest ones out there, but like everybody was all over the fucking place. I mean, Verstappen was all over the gravel pits in both first 2 sessions. But I mean, we've just seen this before. I don't see how Perez doesn't get through these guys. I mean, unless we have like a safety car and something stupid happens. So now we can go back to the first build. So at this point, I've pretty much already built and seen all the shit that I want to have if I'm playing Red Bull and Max in there. Now we can go ahead and look at what is happening when we don't have Red Bull in there, and we're seeing McLaren and Ferrari be the constructors. Now that is interesting because I would have, now at this point it then goes to projections in the sense of where you have people scoring, not necessarily Leclerc over Sainz or Oscar over Lando, but where realistically they can fall in line at. At this point, it's more than likely, if Red Bull isn't the primary constructor or the highest scoring constructor on the slate, I don't know if we have 2 cars from the same constructor in the podium, which is why I projected like this with Norris in 3rd, Leclerc and or Sainz in 3rd. So if that's the case, we're then taking the highest scoring constructor car that isn't Max, and most likely having that be the higher constructor, unless Russell passes Oscar. Because I think Oscar and Russell are probably closer than Oscar and Sainz. So like if Russell would pass Oscar, then that kind of takes McLaren out of the constructor discussion and stuff. Okay, so then building with Ferrari in mind, I think then you absolutely slam the shit out of Verstappen, and you probably start trying to get to as much Leclerc and or Sainz as possible. What does that look like? 46? I think that's the way you'd have to approach it then. Um, Not necessarily Leclerc and or Sainz, just one of the Ferrari guys and building that way. Um, and yet again, this all comes back to, and I'm so happy I had the discussion with Sheets 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that projections are not the end all be all, and they don't really necessarily matter in F1 in terms of entering the slate. I mean, it all comes down to just basically being a math problem, like figuring out where, um, where these guys end up finishing to potentially be the optimal lineup. But entering it it's much more important with lineup construction than it is anything to do with projections at all. And I mean, we do have 9 of you guys in here, and I've been live for like 35 minutes. So if you guys do have any specific questions or anything that you want me to talk about specifically or look at a certain build, do let me know. But this is literally just what we are, or what I'm looking at here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys want to tilt with me really fast? So this pissed me off the other night. Oh, this one was a disaster. This last, holy fucking Christ, dude. What the fuck was this game? This wasn't even what I was going to tilt about. This is a disaster. This is an absolute disaster. But the one that really pissed me off was the classic slate. That's only like 7 days. Was the classic slate. The last one I did when I'd had 4 slates in a row that I had been winning like $8,000 in all of them. No, actually 3 in a row that I was winning like $8,000. I lost on like the last like 5 minutes of the secondary game. And then this was the 4th slate that I did. And this is what just fucking broke me. Not financially, because I made money in it. But dude, this is like too close for fucking comfort. Like I think this is the absolute, and especially following the next like blowout game that Minnesota did over Denver. I think I'm just done playing in VA for the rest of the season. I mean, I can't. This is so close, man. I mean, look at this. Oh my god, dude, this is so close. I was so mad. I mean, we're in a big ass train of like 60 something people, but it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lineups off the top. I mean, god damn it, man. And where is it? Let's yeah, dude, I mean, brother man. This one pissed me off. Like I was actually so upset about this. That's 6 points, man. That is 6 points. Oh my god, dude. That was ridiculous. Ah, dude. God damn it. What else? I was kind of killing time to see if anybody else would post anything in the comments for me to look at specifically. Yet again, I think this is what I'm gonna run with and have this be my idea of where people should finish and stuff. But yet again, you kind of just throw the projections away and focus way more on line of construction and build with what makes sense to you. The only thing keeping this GPP or this contest more open is that there is a chance with what Perez does if the Red Bull constructor works or doesn't work. I'd have to look at projected ownership from some people. I'm trying to think here. Dude, doesn't even matter what the fucking ownership is. Like when you get into a game like this, you're gonna have duplications, especially in a slate like this with a pricing like this. I don't think any of these lineups with the Red Bull constructor, like I mean, I don't think any of these are fucking not duplicated. I mean, these won't be. I mean, these are trash lineups, but the ones at the top that you would realistically play, I mean, I don't think those are going to be not duplicated at all. So then it doesn't even matter of like what the ownership is. It just does that lineup project well on your sims or whatever you're using. And I mean, I think that's mainly it. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. That's the F1 video, the kind of shooting from the hip and having a good old time. 8 a.m. start tomorrow. I'm gonna just get this stuff over with today, so I don't have to worry about it. And I guess, I mean, past that, guys, thank you very much for hanging out, Phila, Nick, and whoever was here for the entire session. Thank you for being here, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I guess I'm gonna go back to my room temperature beer at this point, since I've been talking for like 35 minutes straight. Yeah, you guys have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow whenever I decide to do that fucking live show for the Cup Series. No clue. Might be between the end of the Open, might be better before that. I have no idea. I have no plan tomorrow. It's very good, very much just going to be whatever happens. In when it makes sense to go live tomorrow for the Cup Series. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good evening, and thank you for watching this and hanging out. And I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.